WNST and the fake football on Thursday night. We'll have the finale in New Orleans. Not a bad place to go down there, of course, with this crazy storm. And I'm talking to so many of the Saints people down there. My wife and I were down there for Katrina 11 years ago. It's been a weird weather week, but I think there will be some relative calm around here once we get some real football going a week and a half from now. We got a baseball pennant race. Dennis Kalatzis will be here on Thursday getting you ready for the finale of fake football. And I know you're done with it. I'm done with it. About the 2-minute warning of the first half, I'm sitting in the press box with Luke on Saturday night, and I said to Luke, I said, you were a teacher. Can I just put my head down on the desk for a little bit here? And, I'm not going to sleep. I'm just going to rest my eyes. You know what I mean? It really is very, very difficult to watch and stay focused on if you're a football fan.
It really is, and the referees that just kept throwing flag after flag after flag, Nestor, made the game almost unwatchable. It was really bad. They were in preseason form. Both teams were in preseason form. A lot of procedural penalties, and it just made an already long game drag out that much longer. Not much content in there from that regard. Definitely painful to watch. So I'm with you. One more fake football game. We won't see much of the starters, and then we can get on to Cincinnati. And that's when the fun will really begin.
You know what, man? There's a lot of hand-wringing and angst about Joe Flacco. Every single person, and I talked about 6 people very connected with the organization on Saturday night, and they all looked at me and winked and said, Joe's fine, Joe's going to play, Joe's okay. They're all singing that song, okay? And if keeping him out of these goofy games, go see Julian Edelman. Go see what happened to Tyrod Taylor on Saturday night. I don't want that happening to Joe Flacco in a Saturday night preseason game against the Bills in August. So if that is the case, all right, I'll hear that. I don't necessarily like anything about the offense right now, but I don't think we're supposed to love the way Ryan Mallett's playing right now. But I tell you what, the offensive line better get better, and it better get better quickly. I think we do know what we have in the defense, but this offense is going to be a mystery until proven otherwise 2 weeks from now in Cincinnati.
Yeah, the offensive line, as much as we beat them up around here, they actually held up pretty well against a pretty stout Buffalo defensive front the other night. I thought they played well. James Hurst played well. Ryan Jensen, Matt Skura, they all got their licks in. I thought there were better pass blocking than run blocking, which is a concern. But look, Terrell Suggs said it years ago. When you go on the road, you pack your defense and your running game. They have to at least try to run against the Bengals, and that's the thing. Even the next game that they're playing against the Saints, I'd like to see them commit to their run a little bit more. I don't care if they're averaging 2 yards a carry. I'd just like to see them commit to it and run 3 running plays in a row and see what you get versus one, and then you're passing on second and third down, just to see if these guys can fire off the ball, just to see if the schemes that Greg Roman has put in there are going to work in any type of way. But unless they're able to run the ball effectively, I think it's going to be a long season. I think Joe Flacco needs to pass the ball 25, 30 times a game, not 45, 50, in order for this team to have a chance to go 10-6 and sniff the playoffs.
Well, I mean, defensively, you got to like what you see. At least so far, so good. I watched the Bengals run around with the Redskins over the weekend, and I know we're going to see the Browns in week 2. Just sort of out of the gate, I see this defense as being able to go out to Cincinnati and hold them to some 3-and-outs, some field goals, maybe take the ball away once or twice, and at least put them in a position to be competitive week after week. Barring injury or anything crazy, but it does feel like there's some depth here. There's some veteran here. There's a little bit of the Chargers coming from Weddle, a little bit of the Cowboys coming. Suggs was out there looking like a man half his age the other night. That was good to see. I mean, you don't see that out of 35-year-old defensive players in the third preseason game. He was a real factor in the game, and it looked kind of effortless to him. He was out there toying around a little bit.
Yeah, he was having a lot of fun. This defense can be a lot of fun to watch. They're 3 deep. They fly. They're flying to the ball. They have a shot to be real special, beginning with Suggs and right down to Jalen Hill, who again had another interception. Showed himself real well. Lots of positional battles still up in the air. Kamali Correa and Patrick Unwazor. That's a pretty big battle to keep an eye on. McClellan is in there. Levine. You're talking about a defense that could really be lights out, and that's going to be the calling card. Now, this defense probably also has to score here and there just to help out the offense the way things are going. But it looks to be a very tight-knit group. Jimmy Smith went out. You mentioned injuries in preseason with his hand being iced up. I saw him at Jimmy's the other night, and he seemed like he was better, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big issue. I saw Ronnie Stanley there. He was there as well. He kind of gave me a wink and a nod that he's going to be okay, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch all these pieces come together. Hopefully this will be a healthy version of the Ravens as they kick off the season, unlike in past years, and they can get off to a good start and put together a good season for us for a change.
He is Dennis Kalatzis. The Sunday Sports Voice can be heard on Thursdays from 3 until 5 right here at WNST. And, of course, he's out of Coons Florida, Security Boulevard, where we always get you those updates and texts first, and there'll be plenty of Ravens cuts this week, and the Orioles are expanding to 40. Anything you want to say about the Orioles here as they enter this homestand with a real opportunity to make some noise and make this interesting over the next 5 weeks? Even if it's not good, it can be interesting in the same way like the NFC South race was when 7, 8, and 1 was going to win the division, right?
Yeah, that tells you what, talking about teasing us, but this team has had the best offense in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. I mean, they're just knocking the ball all over the place, and if they get any kind of pitching, look, they can back into that last playoff spot. And listen, it'd be great to have playoffs around here, playoff baseball, in addition to the football season kicking off. But at this point, look, they're still relevant. They're still scratching and clawing somehow in there. Got to give credit to Buck Showalter and keeping this team together, and also to the players for still being relevant this late in the year.
For you with the fight over the weekend, I don't spend a lot of time here. Just as I get older, spending my Saturday night watching two human beings try to, injure each other, quite frankly, it's just not... It's not entertaining to me the way it once was when Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler got together at Caesars, 30 years ago. I didn't buy in. I have a neighbor that oftentimes invites me to, his place and orders the fights. I was with all my rock star buddies over in Catonsville from Charm City Devils in the afternoon, and Mitch Allen was in from L.A., and they had the fight. I came back from the football game. The game ended early. I worked the locker room. I did what I do for a living. I came back, and I literally was trying to make it to Saturday Night Live on a rerun, and I fell asleep, and I don't feel like I missed anything. But the bloodthirst in our culture, and obviously this was a massive event that everyone wanted to see amongst two guys that I don't think you'd want your daughter dating either one of them. But nonetheless, it was held, it came, it went, and apparently it was a good circus as opposed to a bad circus, which we've seen many of.
Well, the funny thing of it, Nestor, it had almost like a fundraiser feel. It was almost like Thunder Lips and Rocky 2.0. It didn't feel right. It didn't look right. Look, the effort didn't look 100% to me in my untrained eye, so to speak. And it was a spectacle on the circus. I pirated it. I watched it on Periscope for free. I wouldn't pay $100 to see that exhibition because to me it felt very much like an exhibition. At the end of the day, it was two guys getting paid lots and lots of money, and mixed reviews. They're all over the place. Some people loved it. Some people hated it.
Yeah, watch the man wrestle the bear, right? And come and pay for it, right? Okay.
That's exactly how it felt. It was just weird, and like you, I just didn't feel like coming up off of $100 to watch something like that, which to me still had an exhibition feel to it. But look, it is what it is, and they made lots of money.
Yeah, so did Evel Knievel when he jumped across the Snake River Canyon. Yeah. So, and I know, you and I had the action figures. He is Dennis Kalatzis. Tell him what's going on out of Coons Florida Security Boulevard, Dan.
Hey, huge Labor Day weekend sale going on, Nestor, from now all the way until September the 5th. Great deal, 0% plus $1,000 cash back, plus $1,000 for first responders, EMTs, et cetera, out there, police officers, and we are loaded with inventory, Ford Motor Credit buying deep. I have the best deals in the world. Right now is a great time for somebody to come out here and save lots of money at Coons Baltimore Ford.
And the weather's good, too.
The weather is just perfect this time of the year. A little chill in the air and little hint of fall upon us this morning, which is always a great thing to feel.
Hey, man, I got to ask you this because, I mean, you run a cart a lot, and this is what you've done for a living. I mean, I have a nice piece of land and a radio tower, and, you know, I've seen water in my basement. I've seen snakes in our backyard. You know, I've been hit by, trees coming down. You know, I've had all of that stuff going on, right? You know, seeing this storm, and I can't think about anyone or everyone, and obviously my cousin lives down there. We have many, many friends. I mean, John McClain was on last week. You know how close I am with Dante Pastorini, who's lived down there in Pasadena, Texas all these years. Going back to Urban Cowboy, for crying out loud. I can't imagine, right? I mean, you have your Coons Ford, or you got Houston Ford, or, you know, whatever your car dealership, whatever your pizza shop is. All those places there, you know, the Mexican places where I go in and they make the tortillas fresh. Dude, it's all underwater. I can't imagine if you have a car lot there, you have a business there like that, right?
Yeah, it's bad enough when we get 2 or 3 feet of snow and what that does to us in terms of moving vehicles around and what a pain that is. I can't imagine, you know, my vehicle's floating, which I saw a lot of car lots in Houston. The cars are just floating all over the place into each other. Total losses. You're talking about a disaster. Yeah, they'll get their money back from the insurance company, but it's going to take a heck of a long time to rebuild and get back to any kind of semblance of normal. So my heart goes out to all those good people down there in that area.
I don't think I can do a segment this week without even talking about it. I mean, we were down there for the Super Bowl. You know, I saw the devastation in New Orleans, how weird it is that the Ravens are playing in New Orleans again this week. So, it is certainly weighed heavy on, I think, all of our minds, our hearts, and sort of the spirit of, hey, that could have been here. That could be anywhere. And those people didn't even see it coming, literally. I mean, all you heard about really was Corpus Christi, and Houston winds up the 4th biggest population base in our country. So, certainly tipping our caps to everybody there and hoping that they can restore something. I don't, just watching it, knowing what that represents, that kind of devastation, and having been down to New Orleans and seeing the water lines, 12 feet high by the freeway, it's really unfathomable, man.
Well, when we flew over New Orleans for the Super Bowl back in 2012, my dominant thought was these people shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be 6,000 feet below sea level. There's something wrong with this just visually. And that's what happens when they get water in that basin. It's just there's nowhere to go. It's just you're trapped in, I don't even know if they can get out fast enough. But boy, oh boy, it's sheer devastation, I guess. That's the phrase that comes to mind when we view something like that.
Hey, brother, great having you on. We'll see you on Thursday, driving us home for some fake football. Try to enjoy the holiday weekend. You know, I know you saw a lot of cars this weekend, but get out there and fish or do something a little, right?
Will do. Thanks, Nestor.
You got it. Dennis Colossus, he is over at Coons Ford Security Boulevard. Of course, the SSV on WNST. Heard here Thursday from 3 until 5. You can find me out on social media. You can find Dennis out on social media as well. Out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook, as well as our YouTube, WNSTV channel. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.